Hello and welcome to Gus McDowell Strategy and Tactics. I'm Nick McDowell. Today we're playing Part 5 of Wings of Retribution, the 11th mission in the NATO campaign in Naval War Arctic Circle. Naval War Arctic Circle is based on a hypothetical Great Arctic War set in 2030 and fought in the North Atlantic, Arctic, Baltic and the North Sea. The NATO campaign covers the Great Arctic War as experienced from the Northern Partnership and NATO alliances. In Wings of Retribution, we must destroy enemy airfields in Iceland and in Norway. NATO and Northern Partnership air and naval forces are to destroy Keflavik and Bergen in order to deny airspace to enemy air and missile operations over the North Sea and North Atlantic, and set the conditions for future operations. In Part 1 of this mission, we analysed the battle space, friendly forces and enemy forces. We came up with a three-phase plan: defend, suppress and strike. If you haven't seen that episode yet, be sure to check it out. In Part 2, we executed Phase 1 defend. During ASW operations, CVG North detected and sank an enemy submarine, the Gepard, and the combat air patrols fought for local air superiority. In Parts 3 and 4, we executed Phase 2 Suppress, which resulted in a number of short, sharp air engagements with losses on both sides. But our fighters established air superiority over the bases at Keflavik in occupied Iceland and Bergen in occupied Norway. We also suppressed the enemy surface action group. Now we move into Phase 3 Strike. Our tasks are for the USS Virginia and CGN South to conduct a land strike on Keflavik using Tomahawk land attack missiles. CVG North and Lossiemouth will also conduct a land strike on Bergen, and will conduct battle damage assessment and re-engage as required. First, a quick recap. Moving left to right, the USS Virginia waits off the west coast of Iceland. The enemy has Keflavik Air Base in occupied Iceland. However, we have air superiority and only have to destroy the berry of A-50U Schmal to set the conditions for the land strike. South of Keflavik is CGN South, centred on the aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt. The ASW screen is out, with a helicopter and a Poseidon hunting a suspected enemy submarine to the southwest. An E-2 Hawkeye provides situational awareness. And the carrier has launched the second wave of air superiority fighters and combat air patrol. Southeast of Iceland is the enemy surface action group. We have only detected the Piotr Veliki, but there are certain to be other ships in the group we have not detected. The Theodore Roosevelt now launches naval strike aircraft against the Piotr Veliki to continue the suppression component of Phase 2. Northeast of the Faroe Islands is CVG North, centred on the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln. This group has fended off torpedo attacks, surface-launched missile attacks, and air-launched missile attacks. It has sunk a submarine, the Gepard, and only suffered losses from the air group. CVG North now reconstitutes its combat air patrol, which has rearmed and refueled following the heavy air combat earlier in the day. The combat air patrol will patrol north of the Faroe Islands and north of the Shetland Islands. Let's speed up time. In the United Kingdom is RAF Lossiemouth in northern Scotland, with an E3 Sentry patrolling to the east, providing situational awareness. And also RAF Lakenheath in Suffolk, eastern England. Fighters from Lossiemouth are patrolling the North Sea to shoot down any aircraft from Bergen. And finally, Bergen Air Base in occupied Norway. It is now Monday afternoon. The Poseidon is laying sonar buoys hunting the suspected submarine. A fighter sweep is moving north to cover Keflavik, and a steady stream of naval strike aircraft is heading to suppress the Piotr Veliki. A number of sonar buoys are in the water, but nothing detected. The ASW helicopter moves to deeper water to continue the hunt. It deploys and activates its dipping sonar. With air superiority gained, time to complete Phase 2 with destruction of the enemy airborne early warning and control aircraft. One pair of F-35 prepare to launch AMRAAM at the Beriev A-50U Shamel. The second pair moves their patrol pattern towards Keflavik. The lead ship in the first pair activates radar. It immediately detects large aircraft over Keflavik. The Super Hornets from the Abraham Lincoln also slow down for their patrol and activate radar. Unfortunately, we receive a report that a Seahawk from the Teddy Roosevelt has crashed from lack of fuel. The first pair of F-35 launches AMRAAM against the Beriev. Here we see the Beriev with Iceland in the background and Keflavik off to the left. The Beriev earlier evaded an AMRAAM. Not this time, it is shot down. The aircraft over Keflavik are identified as Ilyushin Il-78 tankers. The F-35 move to engage. The skies are clear of enemy fighters, and the airborne early warning and control aircraft has been shot down. Naval strike aircraft are on their way to suppress the enemy surface action group. The conditions are now set for the land strike to proceed. First to launch is CGN South against Keflavik. Missiles launched. Off they go. I keep the USS Virginia and its 12 TLAM in reserve to re-engage with follow-on strikes if required. Contact has been lost with the Piotr Veliki and the naval strike aircraft have turned back. One of the F-35 from the Abraham Lincoln's cap activates its AN/APG-81 radar. As does the lead ship from another pair. They reacquire the enemy surface action group. One by one, the naval strike aircraft turn around and resume course for their strike. The skies over Bergen are clear. Time for CVG North to launch Tomahawk land attack missiles against Bergen. Missiles launched. Off they go. I keep the Rockwell B-1B Lancer bombers from Lossiemouth in reserve to re-engage with follow-on strikes if required. But these aircraft take off, so they are ready to launch missiles on command. Bergen may have fighters on the ground, and we do not want to give them time to rearm, refuel, and engage inbound missiles. This Ilyushin Il-78 tanker aircraft has taken off from Keflavik and is transiting northeast. It is shot down. Another Ilyushin Il-78 tanker is in a holding pattern northeast of Keflavik. It is within sight of the coast. It too is shot down. Meanwhile, large aircraft are detected southeast of Iceland. It is not clear whether these are bombers or tankers, but they cannot interfere with the land strike. The skies over Keflavik are clear. Nothing stands in the way of the Tomahawk land attack missiles. Same with Bergen. The B-1B Lancer bombers have 48 missiles between them. They are within range, but I choose not to launch them just yet. Let's speed up time. The naval strike is inbound to the Piotr Veliki. The lead aircraft launch their harpoons and return to the carrier. The Poseidon continues to lay sonar buoys. The Teddy Roosevelt's ASW screen adjusts position. The other aircraft in the naval strike are still out of range to launch their Kongsberg missiles. The Abraham Lincoln's Combat Air Patrol moves to intercept the large aircraft southeast of Iceland, but it vectors northeast to stay out of SAM range of the Russian ships. Let's speed up time. More missiles launched in the naval strike. One of the fighters off Keflavik activates radar, as does one of the fighters off Bergen. I want to detect air threats quickly. Let's speed up time. Time to launch the Kongsberg Joint Strike Missiles. Then, job done, return to the carrier. The Piotr Veliki starts launching surface-to-air missiles against the incoming harpoons. The incoming missiles are S-300FM Fort M surface-to-air naval missiles, NATO designation SAN-20 Grumble. Actually, the FM variant is probably the Gargoyle, only installed on Kirov-class battlecruisers. The Lincoln's Combat Air Patrol now turns in to attack the aircraft. The Tomahawk strike on Bergen still has a long way to go. One minor point, I have been a bit lazy with this naval strike. The aircraft have all proceeded to the target in a straight line and are returning to the carrier on a back bearing, which immediately tells the enemy the bearing and rough location of the carrier. A better approach would be to dogleg the aircraft to the ingress point and return along a different bearing again. The Piotr Veliki has detected the inbound missiles and launches surface-to-air missiles in response. The Teddy Roosevelt's ASW screen has now moved into position. More missiles from the Piotr Veliki. The Piotr Veliki starts firing short-range surface-to-air missiles. Two Kongsberg missiles are shot down. Hit! The Piotr Veliki is damaged. A major ammunition fire breaks out. That won't end well. We have now detected another ship in the enemy surface action group. It is an Admiral Sergei Gorshkov class guided missile frigate. It is undamaged and trailing the battlecruiser. The final salvo of Kongsberg missiles is defeated, but the enemy surface action group has been suppressed. Meanwhile, the Tomahawk land attack missiles are closing on Keflavik. Time on target 5 minutes. Three minutes. 2 minutes. An Ilyushin Il-78 tanker has taken off from Bergen, perhaps a last-ditch attempt to evade the incoming strike. The fighters from Lossiemouth vector to intercept. The F-35C from the Abraham Lincoln are now in range. They open fire on the large aircraft contacts to the northwest. The Tomahawks are approaching the coast of Iceland. They cross the coast. Time on target 1 minute. "30 seconds. Surface-to-air missiles from Keflavik score a hit. Keflavik airbase is in sight. "10 seconds to impact. Hit. And again. And a third. Keflavik airbase is destroyed. More aircraft have taken off from Bergen. The Tomahawk missiles are on course. Southeast of Iceland, both Il-78 tankers outrun the AMRAAM, fired at maximum range. The F-35 press home the attack. Back to Bergen. The Tomahawks cross the coast. Time on target 1 minute. "30 seconds. Bergen airbase is in sight. No indication of surface-to-air missile defences. 10 seconds. Hit! And again! A third! A fourth! And finally, Bergen airbase is destroyed. Mission accomplished. The battle lasted just over 4 hours in game time. We lost 10 aircraft, 3 to lack of fuel and 7 to enemy action. The enemy lost 57 aircraft. The damage to the Piotr Veliki is not counted. They lost a submarine, the Gepard, and of course the mission objectives, Keflavik and Bergen, were both destroyed. This sets the conditions for NATO and the Northern Partnership to liberate Iceland and Norway. So, what did we learn? First, a sustain. For a complex mission like this, planning ahead gives you the vital edge. I broke the mission down into 3 phases, each containing specific actions. In sequence, each action contributed to the next action and to achieving the mission. At each stage, I knew what I wanted my forces to accomplish and just focused on that. As a result, I did not overextend my forces, for example by launching Tomahawk missiles into the enemy fighter screen only to have them shot down. And each phase went according to plan. As a result, we achieved the mission by destroying Keflavik in occupied Iceland and Bergen Air Base in occupied Norway. This set the conditions for the amphibious assault to retake those countries. We also sank the Gepard, damaged the Piotr Veliki, and shot down around 5 squadrons worth of enemy aircraft, with a kill ratio of almost 6 to 1 in our favour. Second, a fix. Given what we accomplished, the loss of only 10 aircraft may seem to be light casualties, except if you were on one of those aircraft. No losses would have been preferable. So always think about how you could improve. For example, I lost 3 aircraft, being 2 fighters and a helicopter, to lack of fuel. Perhaps I could have launched a tanker aircraft and saved the fighters, and not sent the ASW helicopter so far away from the carrier. Third, and improve. I could have improved the outcome by locating and destroying the submarine southwest of the Theodore Roosevelt, or by using the Lancer bombers and the USS Virginia to attack the surface action group and destroy instead of damaging the Piotr Veliki. But selection and maintenance of the aim is one of the keys to victory. In this mission, the aim was to destroy the air bases, not get sidetracked attacking submarines or surface ships. Always maintain focus on the mission. In the next episode, we will tackle the final mission in the NATO campaign, Ragnarok Armada. As always, thanks for watching. For more Naval War Arctic Circle content, check out the NATO campaign and Jersey blockade playlists on our channel. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.